Hey, what's going on, guys? The Horror Man back with the next review of the Terror in the Isles challenge. This time, Jason and I watched The Wolf Man. It isn't a wolf, it's a werewolf. The Wolfman is a 1941 Universal monster movie classic, and it's featured in Terror in the Isles. It stars Lon Chaney Jr. as Larry Talbot, whose character we already saw in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. He's the Wolfman in that, and he's the Wolfman in this original classic. Larry returns to his family castle in Wales after spending 18 years in the United States. His older brother recently died, so he will now be in charge of the estate. One night, while testing out a telescope, he spots a woman across the street. Larry Talbot is a bit of a peeping Tom, if you ask me. Having seemingly no game whatsoever, he even decides to walk over there and talk to her. That wouldn't be such a bad thing if he didn't mention spying on her through a telescope. The woman's name is Gwen, and she's already engaged to someone else, but that doesn't stop Larry. He invites her out anyway, to which she declines. Regardless, the two end up going for a walk when Larry just shows up outside of her house. Gwen's friend Jenny is with them, and they take a walk through a gypsy camp. Jenny wants to see a fortune teller, and she does. Bella, played by Bela Lugosi. Later on, Jenny is attacked in the woods by what Larry believes to be a wolf. Larry attempts to save Jenny by fighting off the wolf, and he ends up bit in the process. He does manage to kill the wolf, though, with a cane he bought from Gwen's antique store when they first met. But Jenny dies from her wounds. Well, you know where the story goes from here. It wasn't just a wolf that bit Larry, it was a werewolf. And now he will become one too, anytime the moon is full. He didn't believe the stories about werewolves when he returned to town. But now he does. The problem is, no one seems to believe him, other than an old gypsy woman. More bodies turn up dead in the dark, misty woods, and Larry believes he's to blame. After all, he is the Wolfman. This here is the definition of classic horror, and it has stood the test of time. It's still just as effective and as atmospheric as I remember it being from when I was a kid. When I was young, the Wolfman was my favorite of all the Universal monster movies. That had a lot to do with the atmosphere. I love those misty woods. Even to this day, when I watch horror movies and they feel atmospheric to me, I think of the Wolfman. It's almost as if nothing can compare to the atmosphere in this classic. Lon Chaney Jr. is awesome as Larry Talbot. I love him in this, and I love him in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. He is a bit of an oddball, like I said, the way he spies on Gwen with the telescope, unintentionally, of course, but then tells her he did that, and then continues to try to pick her up knowing she's engaged. All that aside, I really like his performance. The gypsy camp and carnival is a fun location. The Talbot Castle looks awesome, especially when he's first pulling up to it at the start of the film. You've gotta love the transformation scene. I mean, it's no An American Werewolf in London, but it was good for that time. It had been a while since I watched The Wolfman, and I still love it more than ever. I hope if you're a horror fan, you've seen these Universal monster classics. And if you haven't, maybe start with this one. Or Creature from the Black Lagoon. I love Creature from the Black Lagoon. Or Frankenstein. Or The Bride of Frankenstein. Just watch all of them. Seriously though, The Wolfman is awesome. It's classic horror at its finest. And my relatable recommendation to go along with all of the other movies I just recommended is I Was a Teenage Werewolf. I Was a Teenage Werewolf is a 1957 horror film starring a young Michael Landon. This movie was basically Teen Wolf long before Teen Wolf. It's also significantly featured in an episode of The Wonder Years. I Was a Teenage Werewolf, as the cover of the VHS says, is a drive-in classic. That word classic has come up often in this video, and fittingly so, because that's exactly what the Wolfman is. Have you seen it? If so, what do you think of it? Comment below and let me know. And please be sure to check out Jason's review. It isn't a view, it's another review, coming soon in the Terror in the Aisles challenge. Until then, thanks for watching, guys. Hit that thumbs up and, be kind, subscribe.